want to do is fucking do something with my life. I don't know what it is yet, but I have to. I know I have to. Because these things have happened to me, and if I don't do something with it, then there was no reason. I have to give myself a reason for these shitty things to happen to me, to have been raped at 17, forced out of school for being bipolar because I'm considered a liability, made homeless because my parents wouldn't help me, broken up with a man that didn't treat me right, and then have all of my stuff stolen because I know he was hurting. And here's the thing, I still forgive him because I know why he did it. And now I'm pregnant, and I told you, did I tell you I broke up with Eli? Because look at me, look at me.
It's either you die on the streets, you do drugs on the streets, or it's you go to jail. That's basically all it is. The things I've witnessed on the streets, it's just horrible. You know, it's cheating, lying, stealing, selling drugs, the whole shebang, man. And there's kids out there that, you know, selling themselves, you know, for drugs to forget, and people committing suicide out there. A lot of the kids out there, they have a similar story to mine. By the time I was 5 years old, you know, my father had passed away. My mom, ever since he died, she became, you know, this drunk, psychotic person that I couldn't stand being around. A lot of those kids out there have been abused, you know, sexually assaulted by their family, and I've been abused. My stepdad used to whip my ass all the time. He used to throw me up against the bread box. He used to slap me a couple times, and you know, I'd be going to school and I'd have bruises everywhere. By the time I was 7 years old, I was hanging out with friends who were smoking pot. I was smoking pot with their dad. I was skateboarding. I was vandalizing. Me and my brothers were fighting all the time. My mom didn't want me around. You know, I wanted to die. She abused the fact that I was young. She could take control over me whenever, you know, it wasn't right. I just was troubled so bad, I decided to leave. I was done with it. I ran into a lot of the friends that I knew that were being abused, and people out there don't know it's happening. It's all over the place. It's happening all over. It could be your neighbor for all you know. I technically ran away at 12 years old. I never went back home. Then I started getting into methamphetamine. At 15, I started doing heroin. I was getting in and out of jail. I didn't realize what homeless could be, or like how violent it could be, how dangerous really it is. I was just playing the game. That's what they called it, was the game. The game is just, it's terrible. Can you just imagine a bunch of tweaked out kids my age on the streets going around violating everything? It was a mess. It was how we survive out there, you know, by violence and using. And I did that all the way up until 19 years old. And I couldn't do it no more. I decided to make a call. It was to a good friend of mine who ended up being in the Urban Street Angels, and that's when I reached out. They played a very big role in my life. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. You know, when you're on the streets, you don't trust anybody. It doesn't matter who they are, what they're about. Why would you trust anybody if you've been hurt so many times and you've been taken advantage of? You don't want to trust anyone. The street angels, when they were showing up every time, it's something new to you, you know? They extended their hand to me, and I've never had anybody, you know, actually try to help me out. They were the ones that broke the ice for me to actually trust anybody. When they bring, you know, food and clothes and a warm sleeping bag to sleep in, the kids out there are so much appreciated by that, and it's ridiculous, you know. And I took advantage of that. Real quick. Like, I can get help. Urban Street Angels just want to help, and that's all it is. There's no strings attached. I took their advice and I trusted them. I never thought I'd be in the position that I am today thanks to them.